Crowd of boys, peace. What's good with y'all? I come to talk to you boys about semen retention and the experience of 150 days, which is 5 months. And that's what I'm on. I'm closing in on 180 days, 6 months. And I'm confident, there's no doubt in my mind that I will reach 180 days. But I want to give you some benefits of what I've experienced on 150 days plus. And the one thing I've experienced is better memory. Being forgetful, in my days of smoking marijuana heavy and stuff like that, being forgetful, just forgetting things, my attention would go off of something and I'll be locked into something else. Like for marijuana, marijuana affects everybody differently. But for me, like I have better focus, like I'm focused in for some reason on marijuana. But when I can't multitask off of marijuana. Like when I set my attention on something, when I'm high, like that's what I'm doing. Like I'm locked in. And it could be a hindrance because it could be something that I'm not supposed to be doing, if you will, something less important from what I should be doing. It's been times where I've been on marijuana and I've been doing projects and I'm getting to it. You hear me? Like I'm on point. But if I'm doing something that's not productive, like playing a video game or something like that, watching TV, watching a movie or something like that, like I'll be locked in on that, but it'll take me away from what I'm doing. So I've had to switch it up. Of course, during my semen retention, I fell back off of marijuana for a couple months. Now I do it occasionally, sporadically, once in a blue and stuff like that. In moderation and stuff like that. Like I'll be on it, smoke a day on a weekend while I'm not working, where I make sure that I handle my business first. You dig? Like I make sure I take care of what I got to take care of, do my duty as a man, as a father, and then in my leisure time, on my downtime, I unwind. You know what I mean? I enjoy the fruits of my labor. You dig? I'm be straight up with you guys. I'm not going to say that I stopped completely, but I did set the intention to stop and fast from it. Really clear my mind and get my thoughts together, sober, being sober minded. And I've seen my memory increase. I've seen my focus, being able to multitask and focus on different tasks at the same time. And just being able to do things better with a clear mind. The next thing I experienced was higher senses on consciousness. Higher senses of consciousness. And on this journey you find your higher self. I spoke about this before. And having that more spiritual connection with yourself on the inside and my surroundings. Like my senses are heightened. I'm sorry, I can't speak today. But talking about speaking, my voice, being able to express my thoughts freely and openly, talking around people, talking to you boys out there who come across this video, just trying to touch base with people who need the help, put myself out there and my information, knowing that there's other people out here in this universe who will come across this audio and cipher through the information and apply it to them. That's why I do it. And I also embrace the negatives of it. Having the conscious mindset of there are going to be people who go against this information, say that this information is a hoax. I recently just got a comment saying that the information or semen retention is, what did they say, man? Oh, they said it's I'm fooling myself by believing in this. And my simple reply back is, well, it was that only a fool leans on his own misunderstandings. And it takes consciousness to understand that, to understand that, and overstand that. You dig? You can believe whatever you want, right? If you believe that it don't work, then guess what? You're right. If you believe that that it does work for you, you're right. And I'm gonna leave it at that. You figure it out. You dig? Both people are right. It's just how you approach it, what you utilize it for. And I'll say this before I move on to the next sign, or the next benefit, is that most of the time when people say something doesn't work, or they tried something and it didn't work, or is foolishness, most of the time that person doesn't have the balls to do it long enough and the patience to stick with it, or they simply don't have the discipline as a man. So once again, you take that, and you boys out there, y'all take that and y'all can figure it out for yourselves. I'm not here to save anybody. I'm just here to give the information. You boys are here to save yourself as men. You dig? Next thing is getting a closer relationship with the Most High. Now for me, once again, personally, I have leaned on something that I cannot see, cannot touch physically, and I've put it to work. I've took my power and made it work for me. Not to prove to anybody else that it works, because I don't tell people outside of this community right here that I give this information to what I'm on, what I'm doing, the benefits. You dig? Outside, so I don't have anything to prove to anybody on the outside. I know the work that I'm doing and the work that I'm putting in. And this is the course you should go. If you feel compelled to come on this platform and express your opinion and express your journey, listen, it is here. The more information that is spread, the better the community becomes, and the more inspiration that we have on this journey. But what I have experienced is a closer relationship with the Most High. Him blessing me with spiritual gifts, creativity to come on this platform and have content for you boys. Receiving light codes. Some of this information, it just comes to me out of nowhere, and I got to stop what I'm doing and make a note and have pinpoints of what my content is. And some of these things are not coming out of thin air, but this information sometimes just comes to me. And of course, it comes from other information and resources that I've went through and go through, and I apply it to this channel and make it prosper into something of create and good content and not redundant content. I try to bring something different so that you boys can relate to. I try to dig as deep as I can without getting too spooky with it. You know what I mean? Because this stuff goes deep. This information goes deep. This ancient practice and wisdom, it goes deep. But my relationship with the Most High has become better, tapping into a higher power, starving my ego and not putting it all on me. And the things that I can't control, I release it. The emotions that I feel that I can't control, or that as a man hurt me, I release it. I transmute it. My relationship has become so close with the Most High that, and of course, I still want to get closer and closer. And that's originally what I did it for. I didn't do it for the women attraction. I didn't do it to look better and all this other stuff. I needed a better spiritual connection with the universe and the things that are outside of me. I needed to understand what my purpose was and how to get to it, for real, for real. And that led me to seek the Most High, to become the purest form that I can be. So the next thing I've experienced was, I'm gonna jump off of that because I want to make a separate audio for, that specific point right there. But the next thing I want to talk about is what I spoke about before, but just in more detail, I'm gonna go over is sharper focus. The creativity, the light codes. And I've noticed better production of my performance at work. When I'm at work, man, they sometimes they come up to me and say, what task do you want to do today? And I don't care. Give me whatever. I'm up. I'll be up for any task. I don't take the easy way out. I've learned the system of work and how it goes, especially on break time and stuff like that. And I take my time on breaks. I come to create content on my breaks, actually. I'm on break right now creating this, but I'm using my time wisely and I'm focused on what I have to do outside of work. And this is work also. But my production at work doesn't slack because I'm doing different things and trying to fit. I'm planning my day out and making sure that I'm getting to what I have to get to at work, and making sure that I'm coming with this content also consistently. And I'm more sharper, and you boys will be more sharper in your performance. You're transmuting your sexual energy, which would be sexual performance, right? But since you're not engaging in that, your focus and your attention goes to somewhere else. You transmute that energy to somewhere else, which is work, school, exercise, etc. Whatever you're doing, whatever activity that you're doing, your production becomes better. You're more motivated. You have more energy. Your life force energy is carrying you to have these things placed in front of you and you're able to tackle it. No questions asked. And the last and final thing I'm gonna touch on of 150 days plus my experience is less sexual desires, less urges. And once again, it's your mind process of not thinking about sex. It's not on your mind. You're not thinking about your days that you're on semen retention. Oh, I'm 2 months in and 3 weeks. I'm close. You know what I mean? You're not thinking about it. It's now become your lifestyle. You forget about it. I've forgotten about being on semen retention, and I don't even really remember until I come to do content, to tell you the truth. And that's on King David. Like that's like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm on. Like I honestly forget, in my everyday walk in life. And it's, once again, I don't count the days. I track it by the months and then, rational it down to where I'm at. I like to do it by months. So 150 is 5 months, 30 days. each month. This month is a new month for me. I'll be at 180. So if I recognize anything different from the 150, then, I'll be sure to report it. Trust me, trust and believe that. But with the less sexual desires and the urges, they just don't disappear totally and go away. Of course, you're probably going to think about it, but it's not going to affect you so much when you hit a long street and you're on this path. You will be mentally strong enough to hold yourself accountable if an urge does come, and you know what you have to do to fight the urge and beat the urge. If you have made it this far, you didn't make it this far just by not having no urges through your 150 days of getting up to this point, and you just relapse. You know what you have to do to fight the urges and not relapse. And if you do get up to this point and you do relapse, man, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Don't beat yourself up. Don't get down on yourself. Once you know and you have programmed yourself that you're able to hit this long streak, hey, listen, man, tomorrow's a new day. Just start over and get back to it. Before I leave you boys, man, I'm gonna talk more on the sexual desires. My 90 days plus, which was my first longest streak, I was up to 110 actually before I released. And I didn't beat myself up because of it, because I already told myself, I had basically I already knew I was going to release, right? So I prepared myself already to be sexually active. But then getting back from that, I was slipping. I would go back to porno. I'll go 2 weeks, urge will come, and I didn't want to fight it. I'll go to porno. Or I'll try to hit a little thing up, you heard? So I had to go back to what I knew worked for me when I did my course of my 90 plus days. Going those 3 months. I had to go back to that. And that's what you boys need to do. Just start over at day 0. And what you did to get to your day 1, do it. Day 2, day 3, day 7, 2 weeks, 1 month. You got to keep that ball rolling. You got to keep that process going. Once again, it takes patience, my boys, and discipline. You lack discipline of a man. What type of man are you? No judgment, but as a man, you need to be disciplined. If you can't be disciplined to hold your own sexual energy, that says a lot about you as a man. Y'all meditate on that. With that said, it's all love, my boys. Peace.